It's good to have you join us again on a fresh episode of Energy and You, a weekly highlight of activities within the energy sector. We focus on the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited. I'm Egusa Igumbo. On the program today, we'll discuss the strategic moves being made by NNPC Limited to provide compressed natural gas as alternative fuel for Nigerians. Plus, a glance at the efforts of NNPC Foundation in achieving UN's Sustainable Development Goals. All of these and more in a moment. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Let's now bring you some of the top stories making the round in the energy sector this week. Oil prices declined more than 1% at the start of the week as concerns about China's faltering economic recovery and the stronger dollar weighed against 7 weeks of gains on tightening supply from OPEC Plus output cuts. Brent crude futures fell $1.07 to $85.74 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was at $82.12 a barrel, down 1.3%. Prices retreated as the U.S. dollar index extended gains after a slightly bigger increase in U.S. producer prices in July lifted Treasury yields despite expectations the Federal Reserve is at the end of hiking interest rates. California's independent system operator has warned of high temperatures and increased electricity usage during the coming week as the grid operator prepares for tight work conditions to ensure adequate supply. Germany's economy ministry is in favor of distributing the network cost of expanding renewable energies fairly among the country's federal states. You're still watching Energy and You. NNPC Foundation Limited, a subsidiary and corporate social responsibility arm of NNPC Limited, recently held a retreat in Abuja aimed at evaluating the company's progress, challenges in order to develop strategies to enhancing its impact in society. Well, let's take a look at what took place at the event.
The three-day event, which was tagged Operationalizing the NNPC Foundation mandate, was organized to foster collaboration with stakeholders and explore potential partnerships. It brought together staff and participants who engaged in brainstorming sessions to identify strategies for long-term development and sustainability with a focus on the NNPC Foundation framework, the impact of PIA on the foundation, risk assessment, and sustainable development goals. The event also featured discussions on work-life balance and exercise sessions. In a keynote address, Mr. Danladi Inua, the Executive Vice President of the Business Services Directorate of NNPC Limited, who was represented by the Chief Innovation Officer of the company, Mr. Muniru Mai, outlined management's expectations from the retreat.
Hence, it is my expectation and that of NNPC senior leadership that you come out of this retreat with a clear and unambiguous understanding of the expectations of the entire company that has on foundation, and then a total alignment on how you will go about as a team to ensure that these expectations are being realized.
The managing director of the company, Mrs. Emanuela Arukwe, in an opening speech, encouraged staff to optimize opportunities presented.
We need to make sure that we can get multilateral agencies by doing the right thing. So all the projects we are going to be doing has to meet the international standards and the benchmark of multilateral agencies. That means it has to meet the SDG goals, the SDGs. We must meet those goals to have it. And also we have ESG goals. So we need to make sure that all these are achieved in whatever we are doing end to end. So we are maximizing the kind of things we do. And it's one of the areas of funding.
I'm happy that what is happening now post-PIA is what we've been telling them. Entrepreneurial mindset, business mentality. And I want to congratulate those of you who are pioneer members of this foundation.
The three-day retreat of the NNPC Foundation Limited proved instrumental in evaluating the company's progress, engaging stakeholders, and developing strategies for enhanced impact.
Everybody now get used to the operation of a foundation itself, and then how we are going to be taking out our projects, and also where we set our projects. So it's really a good program because it really helped a lot.
The outcomes and recommendations will serve as a roadmap for the Foundation's future endeavors, ensuring a more sustainable and impactful approach to its corporate social responsibility initiatives.
What do we do at NNPC? Since inception as the National Oil Company of Nigeria, our mandate has been to serve the nation by regulating the oil and gas sector and meeting the energy needs of over 200 million people. Over the years, we have invested in tomorrow's leaders and contributed to the development of communities across the nation. We have grown a network of over 500 service stations. We are the driving force behind the constantly growing Nigerian economy. With an efficient distribution network servicing all parts of the country, we ensure the highest quality standards in our crude refining processes. Nigeria boasts of immense oil and gas reserves which we explore in commercial quantities, providing endless opportunities for economic development. As we drilled for oil, we discovered vast amounts of gas, up to 200 trillion scoop. By harnessing gas, we have reduced gas flaring and invested in liquefaction plants, shipping gas across the globe. Our energy footprint is remarkable. We supply gas to the domestic market for power generation, reaching all across Nigeria, powering everything, anywhere and everywhere. NNPC, energy for today, energy for tomorrow.
The partnership between NNPC Limited and NIPCO Gas Limited on the provision of compressed natural gas (CNG) as an alternative to petrol in the country has continued to enjoy the support of well-meaning Nigerians, including President Bola Tinubu, who hailed the move as very timely. The aim is to promote cleaner and cheaper energy, in line with government's commitments to reduce carbon emissions footprints, expand access and availability of gas to Nigerians, amongst other advantages, and leverage on Nigeria's abundant gas resources. This partnership ensures the availability of state-of-the-art gas stations nationwide. For more insight on this and the usage of CNG in Nigeria, we are joined by Mr. Nagendra Vema, the Managing Director, NIPCO Gas Limited. It's good to have you on the program. Thank you for joining us.
Nice to be here.
Now, 26 years after the government first introduced or proposed CNG as automotive fuel in Nigeria, it would seem like the campaign has now reached fever pitch. And I'm imagining that NIPCO, your company, has a lot to do to meet the growing demand. How is your company handling this campaign?
We extend our heartfelt thanks to NNPC Limited and the federal government of Nigeria for entrusting NIPCO Gas and supporting NIPCO Gas in this unwavering experience of NIPCO Gas in auto CNG. And we, having experience of almost 14 years of auto CNG in Nigeria, presently operating around 14 CNG stations, and we have converted around 7,000 vehicles. So we feel that with the partnership with NNPC, with the support of NNPC and everyone, this project will be done at a very faster pace, and it will give relief to the citizens of Nigeria.
Well, so much has been said in the last couple of days about this partnership with NNPC Limited. And, one would imagine that so much has been put into this. So could you throw more light on some of the details of this partnership and perhaps the main objective behind it?
Like we all know, NNPC is the biggest or the only biggest oil and gas service provider in this country. And the presence of NNPC is in every nook and cranny of Nigeria. On the other hand, NNPC has the wide pipeline gas infrastructure, which becomes the backbone for the auto CNG stations.
Right.
So this natural gas pipeline will support the installation of CNG stations from where the gas will be taken. Secondly, NNPC through its other subsidiary, NNPC Retail, has the wide infrastructure network of retailing of liquid fuels. So the partnership, what we feel that with the support of NNPC and the gas pipeline infrastructure and the downstream retail network, support the auto gas CNG station at much faster pace to meet the timelines and will be much economical having the infrastructure already in place.
Well, in terms of affordability, when you compare the cost of CNG with the current price of PMS, do you think that it is much cheaper to go on CNG? And I mean, how can you continue to sustain this position?
Like NIPCO Gas is distributing CNG since 2009. But NIPCO Gas considered as a project of national importance as a service to society. So we never felt that it is a business which will make money, and we were continuing doing this with you can say minimal or no profit in the auto CNG business specifically, because auto CNG business is not meant for making profit. Auto CNG is to support masses, to support country, to provide service to the country. There are other business verticals which compensate the losses or the no profit in the auto CNG business, like supply of gas to industries through pipeline or through CNG mode, that compensates this. In current scenario, if we consider the price of PMS specifically in Abuja is around 620 naira per liter. However, the price of CNG what we are selling presently in naira for cars is 230 naira per SCM. On the other end, the price of AGO is around 850. The price of CNG for the vehicles which use AGO is around in Abuja is 290 naira per SCM. So if we compare it with AGO or PMS petrol or diesel, the price of CNG for the different sector of vehicles is approximately 35% of the current PMS or AGO price.
Well, we cannot talk about affordability without talking about availability. And I want to believe that these are issues that you've addressed in your partnership with NNPC Limited. So tell us how extensive distribution is going to be, and perhaps the strategic locations where you're going to be having your auto gas stations for supply.
Rightly said that there is no shortage of gas in Nigeria. Abundant gas is available. Yes, there are constraints in the infrastructure for transportation of gas. Fortunately, like the pipelines are available in south and southwest of Nigeria. Ajaota pipeline is also progressing, and sooner it will provide. The basic requirement for CNG is that how does CNG works? CNG is basically taking gas from the pipeline and compressing it to 200 bar for automobile use. That compression is only required to store more gas in a specific size of a cylinder. That is the only purpose. The form of CNG always remains gaseous. So for that purpose, we need to install mother stations at the locations where the pipelines are there. So presently we have 4 mother stations which are already existing and already operating. But in this current plan and current partnership with the NNPC, we will be extending 35 CNG stations. Out of these, 3 CNG stations will be mother CNG stations. And these 3 CNG stations plus existing 4 CNG stations will take care to cater to the other daughter and daughter booster stations. Daughter and daughter booster transportation of gas goes through a CNG cascade, jumbo cascade. We fill the gas in the cascade for around 250 bar, and then we transport. The limitation factor in that, if we take it too far from the mother station, then the economics does not work. So almost 20 states, 20 states, Abuja FCT will be having CNG by way of compressed natural gas, and other states will be having CNG by way of liquefied natural gas, which other companies like us are also working, and NNPC is on top of it.
In terms of safety considerations, would you consider CNG a much better option than petrol? And, tell us exactly some of the safety precautions that one needs to take when you have to use CNG.
Like CNG is also a hydrocarbon, same value chain, same petroleum product. So any petroleum product, any hydrocarbon needs to be handled carefully. Right. That is the first move. Even if we say that the electricity is safe, no, electricity is also dangerous if not handled properly. So even petrol, CNG or LPG needs to be handled carefully. Yes, but for CNG is having some inherent advantages in terms of the properties of that. Like CNG is lighter than air. In case of any leakage, CNG goes up and disperses in the air. It does not form a flammable cloud on the bottom of where the chances of a spark are there. Second thing, like the CNG, the natural gas has a property, because CNG is nothing a compressed natural gas. Natural gas is having a very low flammability range. The flammability range between 5 to 15%, that's all. Means neither the rich mixture nor the lean mixture will burn if the air to natural gas composition varies beyond 5 to 15%, that gives an added safety advantage.
Well, we understand, of course, that the overall goal really is for a cleaner environment. But tell us how CNG can help us reduce carbon emissions in the country and, protect the environment.
So natural gas is eco-friendly, and the carbon footprints are drastically reduced by use of natural gas, and it is environment-friendly fuel. Rather, in some of the countries, whatever project you do for natural gas, you don't require to take environmental clearance, because in their policies, in their guidelines, they declared natural gas project as a green project. So for any green project, environmental clearance or this environment impact study is not required.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, we've been speaking with Mr. Nagendra Verma, the Managing Director, NNPC Gas Limited. The program continues in a moment. Stay with us. Time now for an update on the gains recorded in the fight against crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism.
From Ohaji Egbema in Imo State, Okoroma in Bayelsa State, Obodo Omadino in Delta State to Gokana in River State, the war on crude oil theft is on, and the industry-wide security collaboration continues to record remarkable progress. Between the 5th of August to the 11th of August 2023, a total of 144 incidents were recorded. 53 illegal refineries were discovered and destroyed in Degema and Ibudaya in River State, Imiringi in Bayelsa State, and Ohaji Egbema in Imo State. 35 illegal connections were uncovered and are being repaired in Ohaji Egbema, Imo State, and Okoroma in Bayelsa State. 11 cases of vessel AIS infractions were flagged using NNPC's maritime intelligence system and have been escalated to the Navy through NNPC's incidents management and reporting application. 8 cases of pipeline vandalism were reported in the Niger Delta, especially in Ohaji Egbema in Imo State, while 34 wooden boats conveying stolen crude and fetching crude oil from vandalized wellheads were seized in Obodo Omadino in Delta, Gokana Emoha in River State, and Ohaji Egbema in Imo State. 3 cases of oil spill were recorded in Bayelsa State. 11 of these incidents were recorded in the deep blue water, while 9 of these incidents were recorded in the western region of the Niger Delta. 87 were recorded in the central region, while 37 took place in the eastern part of the Niger Delta's oil-producing region. For NNPC Limited, there is no backing down on the war on crude oil theft until the menace is eradicated for good.
Still ahead on Energy and You, more talks to arrest pipeline vandalism and crude oil theft. NNPC Limited recognizes sister bodies in the collective effort to curb the menace. Stay with us. Operation White, a federal government task force drawn from key agencies to curtail hoarding, diversion, and smuggling of petroleum product supply and distribution in Nigeria, gathered in Abuja recently to recount its activities and successes over the years. Take a look.
The event provided an avenue to recognize and commend critical partners that have continued to make remarkable contributions towards entrenching energy security and deepening transparency and accountability in the downstream sector. Speaking at the event, the Group CEO NNPC Limited, Mr. Mele Kyari, noted that the collective commitment of NNPC Limited and other critical agencies, particularly the selfless service of the Operation White team, have helped to restore sanity to energy security in the country.
And bringing Operation Wide on board, changed the game. Because first, we have clarity around data and information. We know where the incidences happen. We have an intervention protocol where appropriate agencies of government can react, and they do react. And also within the company that we do know where our problems are. And we will continue to engage to ensure that we resolve the several cycles of fuel queue challenges that we face in the company over the last many years. And I must say that the collaboration between NNPC, the NMDPRA, the Department of State Service, the Customs, the EFCC, and very many other agencies of government, too many to mention here, but clearly involved in the entire value chain of making sure that we bring sanity to our business and to our country.
The Executive Vice President Downstream NNPC Limited, Engineer Adeyemi Adetunji, attributed the free flow of petroleum product supply across the country to the Operation White team.
All stakeholders were involved and were able to alleviate the sufferings even when we have no skills of Nigerians and able to access PMS. We're able to thank you today that the subsidy on petroleum on PMS has been removed and we now have a new lease of life.
The highlight of the event was the presentation of commendation letters by NNPC Group CEO Mr. Mele Kyari to member agencies such as the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, the Department of State Security, the Nigeria Customs Service, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, amongst others, for their unwavering support and dedication to Operation White project. The recognition was to appreciate and encourage them to put in more effort in eliminating sharp practices in the distribution of petroleum products in the country.
The federal government has demonstrated commitment to alleviating the pains of Nigerians with the introduction of compressed natural gas (CNG) as an alternative fuel to premium motor spirit, commonly known as petrol. Now, this move by the government will not only boost infrastructure development in the country, it will also reduce the cost burden and over-reliance on petrol as transportation fuel. Energy and You stepped out to hear from Nigerians who are already using CNG to power vehicles.
With the CNG, you actually have like a zero emission your engine. Your engine will actually have higher efficiency because there's no soot in your engine anymore. So there's nothing like your carbon soot on the heads of your plugs. So you have like total efficiency. Your car has maximum performance. People have this fear of the CNG trying to have like explosion and whatnot. No, as an engineer, I have actually had time to understand the strength of the materials that have been used in the process. So I can actually guarantee you that the cylinder behind my car is 100% perfect when it comes to the nature or the strength of the material. So no issue of anything like explosion. Nigerians need to move from where they are to the next level of innovation.
I'm a boat driver and Uber driver. Ever since I started CNG, that pressure is no longer there. Like pressure to remit, pressure to do other things like in terms of fueling. Usually I buy fuel 17,000 daily, sometimes twice in a day. It takes me not up to 2 days. But with the coming of CNG right now, I buy CNG for 3,400 and it takes me for 6 hours. That's 160 kilometers. So you can see the differences between the CNG money and that of the fueling. So now I can at least have a rest of mind. I can save.
CNG is good. It's better than fuel. Assuming if you can use 60,000 on petrol for a week, for CNG you can use 12,000 naira for a week. So 100% sure CNG is good.
Anyone who is willing to convert his or her car into CNG, you won't regret or whatsoever. No matter how much you convert your car, within a month, you will recover your money.
And that's our show today. Thanks for joining us. You can catch up on all other episodes of Energy and You by scanning the QR code on your screen now. Also, remember to follow us on all our social media handles showing on your screen for updates on activities within Nigeria's energy sector and NNPC Limited in particular. Let's do this again next week on this station. I'm Egusa Igumbo. We'll see you again.